And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Carlos Sainz to Williams. Is it really confirmed? A lot of people think it pretty much is, other than an official press release. Also, why Carlos Sainz to Williams makes sense. And the fact that the contract length, well, it may have been leaked. So let's talk Carlos Sainz to Williams. Let's talk that contract length. We're all talking about it. You heard James Vowles himself, if you're watching the Canadian Grand Prix coverage on Sky, pretty much say, yep, Carlos Sainz, we want Carlos Sainz. He may as well just been wearing Carlos Sainz, I don't know, regalia, as much as he wanted him, a Carlos Sainz banner. But Williams has rumoured to be offered Carlos Sainz you heard it here, a 4-year contract for the F1 2025 season and beyond. And this 4-year contract, though, does have an option to leave after 2 seasons if the team do not progress as hoped. Now, that's the claim of F1 reporter Michael Schmidt, who believes that the outgoing and currently unemployed Ferrari driver Sainz is currently, well, unemployed for 2025 anyway, more likely to join Williams than Sauber next season. We're hearing this time and time again. It's all about the Williams seat and not the Sauber seat that will eventually be Audi. So Sainz, as you know, remains without a seat for 2025 after being informed over the winter that he's going to be replaced by 7 times world champion Lewis Hamilton. The Spaniard responded by, let's be fair, producing his best ever start to the season with pretty much peaking at his Australian Grand Prix victory just a couple of weeks after he had surgery for his appendix. So he's had opportunities, though, at Mercedes and Red Bull, been linked to both, but they've seemingly faded away over the last few weeks, with Sergio Perez being confirmed at Red Bull. So PlanetF1.com, though, it's revealed ahead of last month's Monaco Grand Prix that also at Mercedes he's no longer under consideration, at least for the foreseeable future. They have the 17-year-old Kimi Antonelli as Hamilton's successor. So it's going to be a marriage made in heaven. Carlos in one corner, Williams in the other. Well, Red Bull, meanwhile, as we know, they've announced Sergio Perez, and that, I guess, is not going to be a marriage made in heaven at the moment, but hopefully Perez can improve. But Sainz options, as we keep saying, it's either Williams or Audi. And appearing on Automotor and Sport's Formula Schmidt's show. Oh, wow, that's a twist, isn't it? Formula Schmidt's show. Got there. Schmidt has lifted the lid on behind this Williams proposal for Sainz. It said that the team have presented what is to be a 4-year contract to Carlos, including an option to walk away, and that's without ifs and buts after 2 seasons if he feels that Williams is not progressing enough. Now, this rumoured break clause would theoretically allow Sainz to make an informed decision during the first year of F1's next cycles in 2026, which is really interesting because that's also where you'll have Audi. Now, Schmidt said there are only 2 options, Williams and Sauber, pretty much as we just said. Sauber is said to be well, actually Audi. It sounds much better on paper. However, whoa, hold your horses, because Audi is a works contract as well, and Williams is just a privateer customer team. And at the moment, Williams, a lot of people are arguing, is in a much better position. But you have to say very clearly that, and that shows currently an upward trend, said Schmidt, while there is only stagnation at Sauber. Williams have proposed an interesting contract, as we keep talking about, of that 4 years, and he can change that plan. He can go away no matter what, it's been claimed, and at the moment I have a feeling he's more likely to go to Williams than Audi. Maybe he could still go to Audi in 2 years, with the consensus being he goes to Williams for 25 and 26, and then he's like, actually no, it's not really working out, hello Audi. That's unless Audi have a better solution. 2 years is a long time in Formula 1. Maybe they will. And so in 2026 Williams may well, though, have the best power unit. And let's talk about that. So James Vowles put it best when asked about his pursuit of Carlos Sainz over the Canadian Grand Prix. Why Williams? And why Williams indeed, says PlanetF1.com. Why swap Ferrari for a team that finished bottom of the constructors for 4 of the last 6 seasons? Well, let's be fair, Williams have very much improved. And also, here's the other thing, is Williams are not Audi, and there are severe reservations over Audi. You keep hearing in the media about Audi being very lukewarm, let's say, about over their involvement in Formula One to the point that they had to reconfirm it. Maybe that's just the media spinning things and wanting to get those headlines. But it was, we have James Vowles at Williams. He is one of my favourite team bosses, and he seems to inspire absolute leadership down at Williams, and he does have a long-term vision, and the team has made encouraging progress over the years, albeit James Vowles has been very realistic about this. So even before his Ferrari exit was announced, though, Sainz to Audi was, people were talking about it. It felt like a marriage made in heaven for some, given his father's past. And you had Sainz here, a classy driver, around the right age, a respectable amount of success, not a world champion or a man that fought for the world champion, but a multiple Grand Prix winner. And if at all, if anything that made sense, that link with his dad and Audi. Yet, it's not just the current results, because we can't forget Audi is the Sauber team. It's not like just calling them Audi is going to magically make them better. And therein lies the issue. There remains a nagging sense that Audi perhaps fatally backed the wrong horse when selecting their strategic partner for 2026. And it's a feeling that Audi, both technically and politically, the article says, do not yet realise what they have let themselves in for in Formula One. They have been successful at WEC, the World Endurance Championship in the past, as in Le Mans. They've been good there at sports car racing. But Formula One, you can make an argument, is on a slightly different level. So rumours have persisted for some that Audi's engine preparations are not exactly going to plan, with Helmut Marko letting slip last August that the German manufacturer were miles off Mercedes-Benz and Red Bull in the race to get ready for 2026. There have also been worrying signs that any good Adrian Seidel will, if you remember, the guy at McLaren that really helped McLaren before Andrea Stella got there, was doing good, and all he will do is risk being overshadowed by boardroom politics, with Audi forced to address concerns last year that they were considering cancelling their plans in F1 before they've even arrived. So if you're Carlos Sainz, maybe you will then start to question whether you should be going to Audi. So Mercedes, another reason why he might want Williams rather than Audi is Mercedes power. Now, if you remember from 2013 to 2014, Mercedes power was the engine to have. If you remember the resurgence in the Williams team, albeit they created a good car, but what really helped with their car was the engine. I'm going to have a drink, excuse me. Was the engine. Now, having scored just 5 points across the final season in 2013, that was the last V8 season, Williams then collected 5 points, remember, 2013. Williams then collected 320, as well as 9 podiums and a pole position, and a potential chance of, let's be fair, winning a race in Austria with that pole. I just think it was bad strategy by Williams that stopped them. So their best result standings, that was since 2003, and ahead of historic rivals such as Ferrari and McLaren. It was enough to convince some that Williams was finally back. But it wasn't, and then they had a slow and a gradual decline again to the back of the grid. But, once again, will 2026 be an engine formula? Potentially, we have 50% hybrid, 50% engine. Also, what we can't ignore is Pat Fry. What's different about it this time? Well, it's the staff, and that's where PlanetF1.com said that's where Pat Fry comes in. A highly experienced engineer. He's been with teams like McLaren, I think, and Ferrari as well. So when McLaren hit rock bottom in 2018, the year they discovered Honda was not the root of their problems, it was Fry who kickstarted the recovery with their Back to Basics 2019 car, which incidentally was driven by Carlos Sainz, and that car would evolve eventually into Daniel Ricciardo winning at Monza in 2021 and Lando Norris finishing second. And by that stage, though, Fry had already moved on to Alpine, where the car produced the new ground effect era in 2022, brought forth by the constructors. And let's be fair, Alpine had a solid car in 2022. So we had this Williams gradual improvement. Also, more flexibility on the driver market. Signed the very lucrative contract, in Marco's word, offered to him by Audi, and Sainz will be set for life. Absolutely he will. He'll be paid handsomely. They reckon maybe a multiple year deal, possibly a 3-year deal, and that'll take him until his mid-30s. After which, maybe he might not be, the Sainz that we know now. I mean, just look at what happened to Danny Ricciardo. Having said that, hopefully he can still recover and do amazing. I'm an optimist. So the landscape could be very different at Williams, a team that consider themselves lucky to have him and potentially afford Sainz a greater degree of flexibility, as we've seen in the rumoured 2-year plus, maybe 2-year contract. Beat Alex Albon and people will take notice as well. So rewind a few months and Alex Albon was one of the men on Formula One when he was being spoken about as the next Red Bull seat ago. There was even rumours that Albon had been offered, you know, a Red Bull seat or some kind of deal with a Red Bull that never really partook because he ended up re-signing for Williams. But at the beginning of the year, he was one of the men, and if he ends up beating Alex Albon, that will do his stock no bad at all, and he would look really, really impressive because Alex Albon is Williams at the moment. So with all that, Carlos Sainz to Williams makes absolute sense. I think it's going to happen. We would be very surprised if Carlos Sainz does not go to Williams. You heard it here. You probably didn't hear it here first, but there we go. I'm sticking my peg on the Carlos Sainz to Williams flag. What are you guys doing? Carlos Sainz to Williams, it does make sense. I think it's going to happen. Potentially announced before the Spanish Grand Prix or on the Spanish Grand Prix weekend. That would also make perfect sense. But then the big question is, who is going to go to Audi? I guess we'll have to see. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe if you want more Formula One or motorsport content. We do a bit of gaming here. We talk rally. We talk the touring cars. Obviously, we talk Formula One. We are currently playing Nigel Mansell career mode in F1 2024 as well. And check out some of our shorts. Speak to you soon. Thank you very much.